right, everybody, welcome back to We're Gonna Make You Watch. Bryan here, Isaiah here. We're chugging our way through the Halloween franchise, and we have arrived at the sequel to Rob Zombie's Halloween. Halloween 2 from 2009 came out 2 years afterwards, and this is the movie. This is a movie that made me stand up in the movie theater after it was over and say audibly out loud, "What the fuck did I just watch?" Much to the enjoyment of several people around me that just started dying laughing when I said that, because this is just not a very good movie. This is pretty bad, man. What do you think? Tell me your thoughts.
So, as I alluded to in at the end of the last episode, this is my least favorite Halloween movie. Okay. Now, I don't know if I necessarily hate the movie.
Right. Okay.
It's definitely not on the level of like hate that I have for Jason Goes to Hell, which we can talk about another time. But
yeah, we'll probably we'll go through the Friday franchise too.
But there's just so much, and I get it, and I understand what Rob Zombie was trying to do. He was trying to make something that was more his own versus, like a Halloween movie, because he felt kind of trapped when he made that, because he had to make it a certain way to please other people. But at the same time, it's supposed to be a Halloween movie.
Right.
Number one, my biggest gripe with the movie, Michael Myers does not fucking talk.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they made him talk at the end of this fucking movie was a big no-no. Number two, Michael looks like a straight hobo, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if it was a different kind of movie, not a Halloween movie, whatever, great. But the half mask looked terrible, in my opinion, with his beard fucking sticking out and his long-ass nasty hair. And, wearing this fucking jacket, which I didn't mind the jacket so much, on him. But the half mask and, dirty-ass face with the fucking long-ass beard and the long hair, I hated the look of Michael in this. In this one, Loomis becomes a complete prick, completely almost 180 from what he was in the last movie, and just a money-hungry prick who's trying to capitalize on everything that happened. I didn't care for that either. Nope. For character development. And I honestly in this one, almost every character I fucking hated. There's not much redeeming with this movie except Brad Dourif, because Brad Dourif in anything he does is fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, the scene where he finds Annie after she's been killed is like gut wrenching. Because the amount of like just feeling he put into that scene when he finds Annie's body is just like heart wrenching, because you're like, that's what it would be like if a parent found their child murdered,
Mm-hmm.
and
that would destroy me.
It gives me chills every time I see that scene. Everything else is kind of a throwaway with this movie. I fucking hate everything. They don't even use the Halloween theme in the movie except for the credits.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about this movie, the first 15 minutes is spectacular.
Thank you.
And
yes,
I love the look of Michael in that, because, freshly shot in the head, half the mask is bloody and nasty looking. He just looks awesome there. And, kind of stalking Laurie through, the hospital is great. It's a great callback to, the original Halloween too.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it's just kind of like, well, what the fuck are we doing here? Why even... they're trying to capitalize and make money off the Halloween name. I get it, but why make this movie? if you didn't want to make another Halloween movie, other than the fact that you were probably contractually
He was
obligated
not.
to, he wasn't.
He
Okay,
was not
I
contractually
didn't know.
obligated to make this. He heard they were going to move forward into it because they had the right to make a sequel to the movie, and they said they were
Mm,
going to make a sequel to it, and they asked him, well, do you want to come back and write the sequel? And he said, no, I don't really want to make a sequel to that movie. And they were like, well, we're going to make a sequel to your movie. And he was like, well, if you're going to make a sequel to my movie, I may as well just do it. So he just did it out of
uh,
they were going to make a sequel. So he was just like, okay,
yeah,
fine. If there's going to be a sequel to my movie, it's going to be me that does it. So
yeah.
I think that attitude and that outlook is reflected in the final product of this film.
Yeah. And in all honesty, I like most of Rob's movies, and
Mm-hmm.
and I know I'm one of a few, because I
Mm-hmm.
know a lot of people don't necessarily like a lot of his movies.
Right. Right.
But this is one is just like he shouldn't have done.
Mm-hmm.
If they were gonna make a sequel to it, he should have just washed his hands of it and let it go. But I get it. It's something that he helped create with the characters beyond what John Carpenter and Deborah Hill created. Um, so in that aspect, I kind of get it, but at the same time, like, what the fuck are we doing here? Why even make this movie?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's got some brutal kills in it. I will give it that, and
Mm-hmm.
some of that's kind of redeeming, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like a Halloween movie in all the worst ways,
Right.
in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
And I'm kind of in the same boat with you. Like at the end of this, I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just it's one
I
I don't watch. I don't go back and rewatch. I have watched like it one time, and that was for the other podcast I was with that I
mm-hmm.
ran with the other guys, because we ranked the Halloween series, and I rewatched it for that. But beyond that, I watched a fan edit of this movie, which made it somewhat better.
Okay.
A more watchable movie in my opinion. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I mean, we basically have hobo Michael Myers here, who isn't really like Michael Myers. No Halloween theme. It doesn't really feel like a Halloween movie. But I mean, that's kind of par for the course with the last few, where they didn't really feel like Halloween movies either.
Right.
But yeah, it's just it's not a good movie in my opinion. I know I said I don't hate it, but I'm very close to the line of hating it.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha.
but at the same time, I have watched it, you know, at least 4 or 5 different times. I can't say the same for Jason Goes to Hell in the last 20 years. I haven't watched that movie more than
Yeah.
once, and that's because I had to. So, um,
You don't
yeah.
have to do anything, but I
Well,
understand. The
yeah.
first time to see it, you guys like, well, I have to see it. um, yeah, you summed it up pretty well. There's some redeeming qualities in this, and I agree with pretty much all the ones that you said. Once again, another absolutely fantastic performance by Brad Dourif in
Yeah.
as Sheriff Brackett. He's wonderful in this fucking movie, dude. They the first 15 minutes, the one of the best Halloween short films I've ever seen,
Yep.
and because that's basically what it fucking is to me. It's a Halloween short film. Um, and it is obviously, I understand he was just like, well, basically, I'm just going to condense all of Halloween to the whole hospital sequence. I'm going to condense that whole movie down into 15 minutes and call it a dream sequence, just so
Mm-hmm.
it's in the movie. And honestly, that's fine if the rest of what he did afterwards was compelling. But
Yeah.
it wasn't. It was what he was going for compelling came across as nonsensical to me. Um, if he was going to introduce this whole lore of Michael being visited by the spirit of his mom on a fucking unicorn, Um,
I fucking hated that the worst.
then he should have uh, introduced an element in the first movie that could have led to that. Because his
Right.
mom was dead through 80% of the first movie.
Yep.
Now, the argument could be made that Michael wasn't killed yet, and now that's why he's seeing it now. That's fair. But that doesn't mean I need to fucking like it,
Right.
because it's still fucking stupid to me. Because he's also being visited by the spirit of his youthful self. And I get it. If that's why he'd be seeing that because he's been killed and he's dead, then I get it. Doesn't mean I need to like it. I still think it's fucking dumb. It's
Yep.
distracting to the rest of the movie. That is, and this is going to sound weird, is probably on paper a better movie than the first one, because I don't entirely hate the story in this movie. I don't entirely hate it. And the reason I don't hate it is because it's more or less, if you take those fantastical, mythological elements out of this movie, you pretty much have a straightforward slasher film, which is at its core where Halloween is at its best. Um, the kills are pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate her friends in this movie. Kind of trashy people, but big surprise, Rob Zombie fucking wrote them.
Yeah.
I don't hate her friends in this movie. Kind of like them in a way. Um, the concert scene isn't the worst thing I ever saw.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty rad. I would go to that fucking party.
Yeah.
I wish I was playing that gig. Are you kidding me? The fucking stupid fucking comedian is awful though. Um, the the regression of Lori in this, her going through therapy and all that shit, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
This is but we have a much more damaged Lori than the first one, who's trying
Yeah.
to work through all of her shit. Um, of course, we got Danielle Harris, and Danielle Harris is always wonderful. It's always a pleasant surprise to see her in a film. She's a good actor. And yeah, I think I don't entirely agree or disagree with you on the look of Michael. There's things about it that I actually kind of enjoy. I don't like the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't like the big fucking beard sticking out of it. Um, Aesthetically, it's just not something I would vibe with. I can't remember
Yeah.
how long this takes place after the first movie. I think it's
I
2 years.
think it's only a year.
Is it only a year? I thought it was
I
2 for
think
some
so.
reason, but you're probably
It
right.
very well could be,
I
but
got the wiki. I got the wiki pulled up. Plot. Da, 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 da. 15 years later, shot. 1 year later. Okay, so it is. It's 1 year later.
yeah.
Um, okay. Um, that's a hell of a beard for a year, but I guess
Yeah.
it's possible. I don't grow. I can't grow. I've been growing this for 20, so I mean, what do I know about growing a beard? That's a hell of a beard for a year. I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
probably a little too long. maybe
Agreed.
I don't know what I'm talking about. But it is. It's only been 2 years since they made the first movie, so I guess it can't be too fucking far off. Anywho, yeah, the thing that I like most about this movie, though, and I do actually love this about this movie. I fucking love the way this movie looks.
It
This
is a
is
beautiful looking movie. That is one thing I will give it.
this is probably the prettiest fucking Halloween movie ever. It's
Mm-hmm.
shot on film. I think they shot it on
Yep.
35 millimeter. I want to say,
Correct.
boy, that's a hell of a chainsaw that somebody got going on in my fucking yard. Jesus. Oh, just a sec. That's not a chainsaw. That's some douchebag on a fucking four-wheeler or a mini bike or something.
Sounds like
I
a mini
love the
bike.
power of editing. Thank you. Thank goodness we can cut that nonsense out. Jesus. But yeah, the this movie's beautiful. I believe it's shot on 35 millimeter film. And it is absolutely fucking gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I love the way this movie looks. I love the
Yeah.
shots. I think it's shot very well. And at its core, if you take out these fucking mythological elements with the fucking horse and shit, um, and it becomes, if you just make it a straightforward slasher movie, I think this might actually be better than his first one because the first one just kind of, to me, it just trips on itself
Mm-hmm.
a few times. But once again, we're just at the same time, we're still just kind of stuck with shitty characters,
Yeah.
except for Brackett. But even then, like I gotta say, even then, as much as I love Brad Dourif and his portrayal of Brackett in this movie, why does he gotta be like a fucking hillbilly version of Brackett? You know what
True.
I mean? Why? Why? Doesn't make sense. Rob Zombie doesn't know anything about anything other than white trash characters. He just doesn't. I'm assuming it's how he
Sadly.
grew up. I mean, I feel bad for him growing up that way. I mean, but you know what? I got half my fucking family is like that, so I could talk about it because I'm related to a lot of white trash. But yeah, man, it's like it's disappointing because they're it's. I mean, you've seen it, you know why it's disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's not, like I said, there's things I love about the movie. I don't hate the look of Michael Irvin. The mask fucking sucks. Um, I hate the fact that he talks at the end. She sees the same visions he sees.
Yeah.
It's fucking strange, dude. This movie's fucking
It is
strange.
a very weird movie.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know what he was trying to get at. I know there's a clip at the beginning where you read talking about like the white horse vision, and I'm just like, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
dude. That was so incredibly unnecessary. But yeah, I genuinely think that he didn't really want to make a sequel to his movie, but since they were going to make one, he was like, well, if somebody's going to make one, it's going to be me. He just took that whole ass attitude with him and made the
Yep. And he
movie.
made the
And then
most
he made
artsy
a
fartsy Halloween movie.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, this isn't good, man. This is a D minus for me. I like. I will not. I won't fail it because it's got some redeeming qualities in the sense that it is a really pretty film. It's shot very well. It's gorgeous to look at. I actually watch it more than I do H2O
Okay.
because there's some pretty good kills and shit in this movie. There's some pretty
Yep.
good, pretty brutal kills. There's some pretty good sequences in the
Mm-hmm.
movie that are pretty intense. I will say this though, the Annie kill goes on far too fucking long.
Yeah.
The Annie kill goes
Agreed.
on for far too fucking long. Um, I get that he was trying to make her death very impactful, um, but I don't think I don't think the payoff was worth it. If that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
D
Yeah.
minus for me.
Yeah. I really, 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 really badly want to give this an F just because how much I dislike about it. But at the same time, that opening 15 minutes is spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I would want from a Halloween movie.
Oh, Octavia Spencer,
Um,
too.
yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So that is great. Like you said, it's a beautiful movie. Beyond that, I don't really like much else with it other than some of the kills are pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
So with that and Brad Dourif, I would go with a D minus to
There
give it
you go.
a little bit of credit where it's due. But everything else about the movie I fucking hate. So
Yeah, I get it.
but
I
it
understand.
is watchable to a point for me.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
every
absolutely.
once in a great while, I can handle watching this. But yeah, it's not often.
I get it. All right. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 knocked it out. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys love Halloween 2, if you hate it, just let us know what you think. Thanks so much again for hanging out with us on this journey. We've got 3 more entries to go. We're coming up on the David Gordon Ween movies. So we'll catch you guys on those episodes. Thank you all so much. Bye.